Welcome to another episode of Soul Filling. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
And today we're talking about being honest with ourselves. So this episode may get a little deep and it may get all up in your business. So it's almost like a writing entry. I got this post from Karma Bliss by Debbie Brown. She used to be a radio host here in Houston, Texas, and she's just such a lovely person. And when I saw this post, I was like, let me save this for a future soul filling podcast to spring up on our soulmates. So, are you ready to be honest with yourself? And basically, the title of this is How to Be Honest with Yourself. Y'all ready, ladies? Y'all ready to put the business out there?
Ready
or not.
Okay. All right, let me dive into the first question. Dun, 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 dun. What am I not accepting about right now? What am I avoiding? I'm gonna read that again. So I'm gonna read one at a time. So, what am I not accepting right now? And what am I avoiding?
Okay, I'll go first. What am I not accepting right now? I think one of the things that I'm not accepting at this moment is that I would like to be a lot further in certain areas of my life than I am. And, up until just recently, and I think because this was actually supposed to be last week's podcast, I had read these questions and I had got to thinking about these answers just throughout the week. So it's just funny how everything is coming full circle. But what I mean by things that I'm not accepting, where I want to be in different areas of my life. So for instance, if I'm thinking about my mom's house, I'm like, oh, this is a whole house. Like, I'm not decorating just, one particular room or anything like that. It's like I'm trying to get together and put things along. And so just lately, I have been feeling a little overwhelmed or more so behind. I'm like, we've been having this house for this amount of time, and here it is, October has come. And mainly one of the reasons has been is because she's normally staying with me. And so she's not really even at her house, but I'm just like, okay, come on now. We got this brand new house. We need to get the ball rolling so that we can, it can feel like a home. And so, yes, and it's funny, since I have been thinking about that this week, my sister was able to help get like some new living room furniture. So I was just like, wow, when you put things out into the universe, it's funny how they come about. So that's just one thing. And what was the second question?
What are you avoiding?
What are you avoiding? I don't think I have an answer for the one that I'm avoiding, but the one that the thing that I'm not accepting, a couple of other things I'm not accepting would be the house, the Soul Filling podcast. I'm like to the point, like I have to get to the point and accept like we are great. We deserve knowing these things and putting the equal amount of action behind it, just finding ways to prioritize that. Even with my own house, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm no longer accepting, my current living space. I'm looking for the future. I'm thinking about, where do I want to be? How do I see, the outline of my family, the dynamic of our living situation and things like that. And so those are just a few things that I'm coming to the realization that I have not been accepting it, but I need to like really put more energy and focus so that I can get what I actually want. So yeah, how about you ladies?
Absolutely. And hold on to that, what you said, because the next question carries on with that. So, Kobe?
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm not accepting the journey. And it's weird to say because I know we talk about it all the time. And it's something we kind of preach a lot. But I do find myself at moments, not really, just exactly what Jazz said, just not really liking where I am and, not accepting like, hey, this is where you want to be, but this is where you're at right now. This is the step that you're in. This is the phase that you're in. This is what, God is trying to teach you right now. And I guess it's like a battle within myself, like, okay, I got it, like I get it, I've learned the lesson, I'm like, what else is there for me to learn? Like, why am I not, moving forward? Why am I stuck in this phase? Why aren't, so I find myself, not accepting, like, okay, this is just where you are. This is where you are. Just accept it, live with it, and I don't know, like, I just feel like that's just not what I'm accepting. And I've been avoiding just not taking certain actions, I guess, to get to be where I want to be. And it's mainly a huge part of that is because it is a fear. Like, for example, I'll say school. With school, it's a up and down with me with school, because I feel like, damn, I did, I did my part. I got my 4-year degree, like they said, and I should be better than where I am. I should have a better job. I feel like my experience is just what it is, and it's helped me. But I'm just like, it is what it is. So it is this piece of me that's like, okay, do I put myself in more debt to get, go back to school, to get an education, to further my education? And, the fear is, okay, I do that, and then I still don't hit, that mark or get the things that I want, or make, get the position that I want. So it's like I put myself in debt to, you know, make more money. But, is it worth it? Do I do it? Do I just keep pushing and grinding with what I have and making what I have work? Or do I, yeah. So that is like where I'm stuck with this battle within myself of not accepting. And I've been, avoiding some things. Do I get a certificate? Do I get a good degree? Do I, quit this job and go start another job? Do I, get some other experience? Just the pathway to get all these things that I want is just, that's what I've been avoiding. It's just doing one thing, just saying, okay, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. And whether it works or not, yeah, I'm gonna just be happy or, accept whatever comes with whatever decision that I make, if that makes sense. So it is a level of, okay, I could do this, I could go this way, I could go left, but I have to be okay with, whatever comes with me going down that path. I could go right, I could go straight. And that is what I'm not accepting. That is what I'm avoiding.
Yeah. You're basically like at a crossroads of all these different avenues that you've just been trying to figure out, like what is the best decision for me. Um, you remember that episode when we were talking about the stuck episode? What was yours? What was your reasoning for being stuck? Because we all had the little things that keep us stuck. So mine was like basically avoiding the details, the little mundane things that you need to do. I don't like doing, like, looking at the little details. I always look at the big picture, like, we could do all this, but then I'm like not doing the little minor things that I need to do. So do you remember what your I don't know what it was called, level of stuckness was?
Yes, look, I think it's in my phone, but I think it was a mixture for me. It was a mixture for me. I'm trying to see if I have it. I don't remember off the top of my head.
But while you're finding that, I
have
will
to go
say,
to the article. I do have the article.
But while you're looking for it, I did want to just add on. and say that, like, I feel the same. I have felt that same way where, like, you know, you're just at a crossroad, and it's just something that I battle with in different seasons of life, just not knowing how to make a decision, because you don't want to make the wrong decision, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But I think it comes with a lot, but some of the things I think that it can help the process be easier. It's just kind of understanding what it is that you want, the things
Mhm.
that move you, the things that, like the thing that makes you feel full, and whether it is going to school or whether it's not going to school, just choosing it. And like, because it makes me think about, if I could put it in a story, it probably will make a little more sense. When I was in college, and times I would feel just overwhelmed and drained, and like, I'm over this, and I would call home, and my dad would always just tell me, finish what you start. Like, you already started it, so finish it. So I just think, well, whatever decision you do decide to choose, just see it through. Just that whole point of just seeing it through, like just getting through with it, whatever that may be, and just knowing that it is gonna work out. It may not be perfect, and there is no perfect answer, no perfect decision, but it is gonna work out for your good, no matter what you decide. I
Yes.
think you're right where you're
And
supposed to be.
and so what that was a waffler. I remember now. So the waffler is the over analyzer. And there it was saying the more time you spend thinking about what you should do, the less you're able to do anything at all. And then also it says find, the advice was to find something to believe in and commit to it. And um thing that it said was to remember not choosing is a choice. And so that's really where I am with about like what I've been avoiding. I haven't made a decision. I hadn't, made a choice. And not making a choice is a choice, essentially. So I'm hindering myself by not making a choice.
That's so good. And that makes me think of like, this kind of goes into what I'm avoiding at the same time, but it also makes me think of self-trust.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people probably don't think about trust within themselves. They mostly think about trust in a relationship, but we
Yeah.
have a relationship with ourselves, right? And so we have to, you're not going to steer yourself wrong, especially if you're analyzing this. And I'm talking to myself too. You're not going to steer yourself wrong. So trust yourself enough to know that you're going to make the right decision. And, you know, and I understand committing to that, but also know that you can change your mind. My brother and me were talking about this yesterday, honestly, because I was talking to him about some career changes, and he was just like, Tiffany, I'm glad you're learning this. Like, I used to talk about this all the time, but nobody really understood. But it's okay to change your mind. So once you make a decision, you don't have to stay in that decision if it's not setting right with your heart. You're like, oh, it's just like when you're dating, you're like, oh, I think this man is gonna be perfect for me, da 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 da. Or but if it doesn't work out, you're like, oh, that's not what I thought. I'm gonna go this way. And that's the only way you're gonna know is by trying it out, you know. But trust yourself, because whatever situation you're in, you're Kobe. Like you're going to thrive in that situation, whatever it is. And so I think a lot of us, and me, it's the fear. It's the fear of failure.
Yeah.
It's the fear that this is gonna work out. And so what if it doesn't? But it also really may may really, really work out for you. Because everything works
Yeah.
out for your good. Whether it's
Yeah.
winning or losing, if that makes sense. So that was good. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So for me, I didn't going into this podcast, I didn't know what I wasn't being honest with myself until y'all started talking. And I think it is that going to that self-trust, because I trust myself in different situations, like doing stuff for other people. It's easy for me to I trust myself with them because I care so much about what they think of me, if that makes sense. So like I know that I'm gonna get this done for this client, or I know I'm gonna be really good at this job because I want to make sure that my reputation is good, you know? But when it comes to me and my own endeavors, I mean, I believe that I'm great, but I think like I need to accept that I really care a lot about what other people think of me, and I fear that people won't like me. So that's why I probably don't talk a lot in my IG stories. I don't do that many videos on my Instagram. And though I have a lot to say, obviously, like I feel like Soul Feeling is a safe space for me. And I feel like it's not just me. So I'm not like really out there when I do have a desire to really just talk about healthy living and life and the joys of God. But I'm scared of what other people think. And so also I have to accept the fact that like I'm kind of a perfectionist. I don't want to really say that I am, but I try to make sure everything is perfect until I do something. Oh, I have to get the apartment first before I start filming this. Or I have to do this before that. But then once I get my apartment, I'm like, oh, I can't film here. Yet I don't have a couch or something that's always not perfect enough for me to but meanwhile, it's really just like not thinking to myself, I'm not really, I feel like I'm good enough, but I also feel like I'm not good enough. If that makes sense. Like, are y'all gonna like me? But so yeah. So I know. And so I guess what I'm avoiding is the work. And that's both in Soul Feeling and in my personal brand. Is like it actually is gonna take a lot more work and time. And I'm really trying to figure out how I'm going to do that while I'm also obligated to other things. And yeah, so I could go on a tangent because I have more to talk about than that, but oh girl, I don't know what all that was, but I hope that made sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, it definitely did. I can agree, especially with the perfectionist aspect of it all, because and it's so much so because I was telling myself like I just want everything, and I didn't even necessarily say I want everything to be perfect, but it's just like, you know, you have these goals in your mind, this vision of the things that you want and the way you want to achieve them and how you want to achieve them. Not even necessarily the how you want to achieve them, but just, you know, that thing that you want. Because I was like, so, and the thing that I'm thinking about right now is a house. So I'm like, okay, and this goes back to what you were saying, when you can go hard for someone harder than you go for yourself. And I was like, man, I built my whole mama a damn house, which I'm glad I did that. But I'm like, okay, now it's my turn. I need to turn that same energy up for myself. And it's just like when you were saying, we 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 care about what other people think. It's like, but I need to care about what myself think. Like I need to care about, you know, trusting myself enough and knowing that what I deserve, and actually going out there and giving that same energy for what I deserve. And so it made me, you know, being a perfectionist, and I don't want to claim that, but if I'm being real, we being honest with myself right now, I'm just like, okay, I'm always trying to find something else I need to have in place before I go and you know, just because I just feel like if I had, you know, this cushion in my mind, or this stature in my mind, or whatever, that it would make me feel more confident as I'm walking into into different meetings, you know, even trying to go through the whole process. But I was like, and I asked myself, I say, I didn't feel like I needed any of that when I was trying to help my mom rebuild her house. But why do I feel like I need X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and D just so I can move forward with, you know, doing something for myself? And it was even so much to the point like, this is what I'm not accepting. And I remembered it. I mean, what I've been avoiding. I've been avoiding that I already have enough, like right now. And I've been avoiding the fact that I need to accept the fact that I already have enough right now. I don't need anything extra outside, external. Now, at one point, depending on where you are in your life, you may need some certain things. But when I was sitting back this week and I was talking to Jarvis, and we was just going over some figures and numbers and things like that, and I realized, like, when I really just sat back and did the math and calculated everything, like, since we've been really, really serious about this financial journey, and I know I've been saying, I want to save $10,000. I want to save $10,000. That's been, I don't know why that's everybody's first thing that they want to start off by saving. I don't know. I just feel like when you say $10,000, you that be. I don't know. And so we was going through everything, and here I am feeling like I ain't accomplished nothing. And I saved way more than $10,000 in just a year. And I was just like, damn, okay, I need to give myself props, but I just had it in different accounts. So I never really saw like collectively what it was. And so I was just like, okay, I already have enough. Like, I need to stop trying to project enough into the future, or until I get this or until I get that. And it's just like, start using what you have already now, and use, and like, I can already stand with that confidence. I can already, walk with that purpose. It's not until I have this, that, or the third. It's like, you already have it right now. So just use it. So that's what I was, the perfectionist, the not accepting, going hard for other people, all of that. When y'all were talking, it was just making my wheels turn. I'm just like, okay, I really just need to slap myself and get it together and go and do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think like all three of us, what it is coming down to is just the doing it part. And that's why I'm like saying that we're avoiding the work because in our minds it's harder than what we, you know what, I don't know, because some things are hard and some things aren't hard. But we're not, if we want to be where we want to be, we're gonna have to do it anyways, or be in the same place that we are. And I think that's my problem as well. It's just like I'm real big on like things flowing to me very organically, like, oh yeah, it's just all gonna work out one day. And I still believe this. And one day somebody's gonna see Soul Filling Podcast, and it's gonna blow up. It's one thing's gonna go viral, but for something what people don't realize, like for like young BBQ, she was making multiple videos until one went viral. And then and so it's just like, in order for something to just organically happen, stuff has to work within the atmosphere and within the universe. You have to create something for something to spark your manifestation. And so I love that so like part of the what we already have in different places is, in this place I'm doing the work, in this place I have the faith, in this place was I already have an education, in this place is that, let me bring it all together. So I love that you said like you already had everything you needed, was just in different spaces. And because we can't see, we're always looking here, we're only focusing on this part of what we have, or this part of what we have, this part of what we have, instead of, whoa, I'm amazing. Wait a minute, I'm amazing because I have all the parts. And if anything I lack, God is gonna come through with everything else I need. So, but let me go on to the next question. And soulmates, y'all better be answering these with us, okay? So take out your notepad and write it down. Don't be playing with yourself. Okay, so the next question is, what if I did accept this person, situation, conversation, thing? How would that make me feel? Well, I'm kind of confused on this question, to be honest.
This was easy for me.
Okay.
So what did I put? Okay, so I would say my emotions would match my words. And what I mean by this is, like, how you like, I'm okay, like I'm good. You walking around telling yourself one thing, but yet, at night, crying, the tears are coming, you're not happy, you're angry, so you're saying one thing, you're putting one thing out, but really your emotions are, totally different. So yeah, if I did accept everything and just went with, accepted, this is where I am, this is what I need to do, then my emotions would be aligned. I'd be like, okay, no, this is just what I need to do. And then to take it a step further, my actions would start, my behavior would align with what I'm saying at that point. So my emotions and my behavior would be aligning with, how I actually feel and what I'm actually saying I'm going to do. So it just goes back to what you said, Tiff, just making that decision, sticking with it, doing the work. And then I'll be able to say, hey, I'm doing the work. I'm on my journey. This is where I am, but I'm putting in the work. I'm working hard to get to where this is what I want. And this is, what I'm doing to get there. And I'd be able to stand proudly in that and be able to say, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get it. It's coming. But I'm crying because it's like, I don't know if it's coming. I don't know. So, yes.
Yo, that's so good. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm gonna tell y'all funny. And this is really kind of embarrassing. But so for me, I would say I would feel like it's okay. Like, oh, this is like accepting like, oh wait, this is okay. Like we're human. Things change. It's okay. You can start now. And this is really going off of what I was gonna say, but my dad, he I believe he's a great father. Like I love him so much. But I remember one time we were sitting down and he told me that he didn't feel like he was a good father to me and Jeremy. But before, like, and I asked him why. And when I asked him why, somebody walked in and it was just like, wow. And I was just like, my dad never opened up like this before. And so sometimes I feel like he he's a good person, but he wants to. Oh, I don't know. I'm not about to put all this business on here. What I'm trying to say is like he is not too. If he doesn't think he's a good father right now or in the past, it's not too late to still be a good father. Just because me and my brother are older now, Jeremy has his own wife and kids, and I'm here. So it's just like it's never too late to start being something that you want to be. And you have to be honest with yourself and say, maybe I wasn't this, but first you have to be honest with yourself, but I can be that now. And know that that's okay. That's okay. I was raised differently. I messed up. It's okay because we're human. That's what I'm saying. And so that's by accepting what I'm avoiding and accepting the situation that I'm currently in. I have to give myself a break and be like, this is okay. But like we go back to decision, is it going to continue being okay if I continue choosing the same narrative over and over again? Now that's when it's not okay. So that's how it makes me feel.
Yes, I love that. For me, I just got a call right in the middle of it. Hopefully, I just put it on do not disturb. Hold on. Okay. So yes, for me, how I would feel if I was to accept some of the things, like, for instance, the house, being a perfectionist, matching the same energy that I pour into others, I can honestly say it will really, so in the aspect of the house, I know that I'm procrastinating on it. If I'm just being real, it would make me feel accomplished if I just really just sat down. And that's why I'm here right now this weekend. Y'all notice my setup a little different because I was like, today, as soon as this podcast over, I'm going to Bell's Furniture. I'm going to every furniture store in Houston, and I'm about to go and really get this stuff and quit talking about it. But it'll make me feel a sense of accomplishment though. That's one thing. And I feel like I need those small milestones to keep fueling my fire, to keep me going, if that makes sense. Far as it will make me feel free, far as when I think about wanting to start my own, if I'm being honest and accept the fact that I have not been vocal about, some of the things I want. I'm vocal about some things, but then at that same time, I'm not vocal about, wanting to start a family or wanting to like, hey, I want a house. I want us to be in that house. Like, this is what it like, being vocal. And if I'm being honest, once I get those, and which I think I've slowly started to transition over to like getting those things that I really, really want out. If I feel it gives me this sense of freedom, like I put it out there, now we can go ahead and move forward and work toward that thing. But if I'm just in my mind creating this whole fairy tale and I'm not, putting it out to my partner or the people around me, and that's the thing, not just putting it out to my partner. I need to like make sure I'm vocal about this with my family as well, because I feel like my family has certain expectations over me, and his family has different expectations for him. And sometimes the expectations are not lining up. Like my mom thinks I'm going to live with her forever. And I'm like, Mama, I can't. I'm not. And so it's just like, I'm painting you the clear picture. Like I'm grown now. So, this is the future that I want, and being okay and walking boldly into that future. I think it would just be a really freeing place to be in. So I'll just leave it at that. It'll make me feel free.
That's so good, because it reminds me of our podcast of working backwards. Once you become clear on something, you're more like your vibrations are more apt to go get it. So it's just like clear. I wanna own a house with my significant other, and I want to raise kids and have babies and start our life out. That's a really good picture, and that's something that that's definitely super possible. But like you were saying, vocalizing that to not only your partner but others, because it keeps them clear, but also keeps you accountable, because it's like, oh damn, I told them I was gonna do this, so let me not that we care so much but what other people think, but it helps you like, nah, I'm gonna get this. Makes you stay on track. So I think it's good. So if anybody hasn't watched our Working Backwards podcast, I think that's like a huge one, because you have to have a goal first and be clear on what you want so you could go get it. And there's different ways of getting to your destination, because everybody's journey is different. So I think that's huge. So another thing I want to say about that is, now I feel like I'm not being honest with myself with a lot of things. And another thing I'm not honest about is like, well, I don't know if I know this about myself, but I don't like confrontation. So when it comes to being clear or vocalizing exactly what I want, I might ghost you.
Girl,
I
girl,
might.
I just have, no, I just want to piggyback, because me too. Like I have that people please, I don't want to step on nobody's toes mentality, and I'd be like, sometimes it can cause me to suppress what I really want to say. But yeah, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, that's so true. And you might not feel, you might be thinking about how they feel. And this is funny. I was in a meeting, and uh, she asked me like, so Tiffany, is there anything that we need to change so this week could work better? It's just anything you think that's unnecessary. And in my mind, there was one thing that I thought was totally unnecessary. And I'm like, everything's good, but this one task was taking so long, and there was no benefit for it. So a week goes by, and then she asked me again, hey, is there anything that you need to think we need to change, really want you to take full ownership of this. Da, 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 da. And I was like, well, and she had to literally pull it out and she's like, I want to create a safe space for you to be able to give me the feedback. And I was like, well, honestly, this thing right here, I looked at the data, nobody's doing this and that, it's not helping us, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, okay, thanks for letting me know that we're not going to do it no more. And I was like, what? and I told her like, and that was like, I was like, wow. And she's like, what? She asked really good questions in between. She's like, what was stopping you from telling me that? What was hindering you from letting me know this? And why did it take so long? And I was telling her like, well, it's because I knew the intention behind it. I knew we were doing this task so we could get more people to do this thing. But she was like, that is the intention. I'm glad you were clear on that intention. But if it's not working, we need to know. So even if someone has good intentions for you or whatever it may be, also, if something is not working for you or a company or whatever, you still have to vocalize it. Because in my mind, she was going to be, because I had people who've been like this, tell them my feedback and they're just like, nope, this is just how the way things are. But some people, so I was projecting my past experiences on her. So what we have to realize is not everybody's the same. And then secondly, not everybody's thinking as crazy as you and they trust you. And then whether they accept it or not, at least it's off your plate. So that's one thing, is like vocalizing what I truly want. And then also there's another thing that I realized is sometimes I think we want what's bad for us. So now I'm not gonna say this one. Okay, keep going. Just know that. So yeah. So next question. What part of my narrative hurts me the most? Is this narrative really true? Ooh, I love this. What part of my narrative hurts me the most? Okay, soulmates, what hurts the most? But is this narrative really true?
This is a tough one. What part of my narrative?
I got it. Are y'all still thinking?
Yeah.
Go. You go ahead and go while I process.
I don't know if it fits I don't know if I'm answering it right, but okay. Yeah, go.
So I was talking about how what I'm not recepting right now is basically not doing the work. Like I'm avoiding not doing the work, not trusting myself, caring too much about what other people think. And so what part of my narrative hurts me the most right now is I feel passed up in some predicaments, or I should be getting brand deals. I should, that's what I'm thinking. Like I should have more of an impact. Soul Filling should be on the top 10, whatever. We should be getting paid. Like that hurts because I feel like we're so good. And I feel like we could really help so many people and we're deserving of it. We're like 4 years in. And so it hurts the most to know that what we've done so far hasn't gotten us yet, even though I know it's coming, to a more impactful, more monetary, more freedom-based situation. And so it kind of hurts when I'm like, dang, they just started their podcast and they got this many views. And I'm just like, oh, but then I'm like, well, Tiff, you have been not putting as much effort as you used to, or something like that. And so it hurts because I feel like I'm supposed to be somewhere and we're supposed to be somewhere and it's my fault. And so, so that's on me. Is this narrative really true? Yes, I think so.
I don't know, that question is what throws me off.
I think that's true.
Yeah. For me, it would be just, I'm not accepting the journey. I've been avoiding, the same thing, doing the work. And if I accept it, I wouldn't feel like a failure. So right now, this part of my narrative hurts the most because I feel like I'm failing myself. I feel like I know I'm not a failure, but I feel that way. And so for me, is it true? No, but I feel like a failure. That's just what it is. Because I haven't, there are things that I have done that I, wish I would have done better. And there are things that I just didn't do at all that I wish I would have done. I could have done it and, been where I wanted to be by now.
Now I want to change my answer. Is this narrative true? Yes and no. Because at the same time, we've also been very motherfucking consistent. We have a podcast every week. It's edited, and every week is out on Tuesday, whether late at night. So, and also, we did get a whole deal.
Yes.
Right.
And we are working hard. And I think it goes back to, are we doing the best that we can with what we can? I really been pressed for time these few last couple months, and trying to balance this work, but also being in nature, which is very important. And family time is like sometimes, I don't know. So anyways, so yes and no. How about you, Jazz?
It's not all your fault. I just want to start off by saying that, Tiffany. Like, girl, you tripping. But no, I get it though. And the thing that hurts me the most is that I feel that in some ways I lacked that shameless, unapologetic courage that I needed, that, that allowed me to, go as hard as I did for others, for myself, or being clear about my intentions to others and not wanting to rock the boat or things like that. Or, even being a perfectionist. I feel like, I didn't even have the courage at times to mess up, to make a mistake, which that's something we all do. And, instead of, making it such a big of a deal. So I think that's the part that hurt. Cause like if I just been courageous enough to still take the necessary action, granted, whether it was right, wrong, and like you were saying earlier in the beginning of the podcast, that we can always change our course once we start something and see that God wants to place something else even better along our journey. And we can always move. We're not a tree. So just having that courage to go out to do what it is, whether it's pertaining to my future, the podcast, my family, still just having that courage and being unapologetically enough to not care about the outsiders, not care about what people think, say, do, but still knowing that I'm giving my all. And is this narrative true? I would say in many ways, yes, I did lack courage. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's true for the most part. I mean, there are some situations I was pretty courageous, but for myself personally, for my individual progression, I mean, I feel like kind of sometimes we being hard on ourselves because we've actually done a lot. I'm thinking about this, but at the same time, I know where we have big dreams, big goals, is probably above the norm. And so if I'm judging on like my being excellent, I say it's true because I should do more. I should have done more, I feel like. And yeah, that's what I have to say.
I think what it is like, so I don't know. I've seen this saying, it's like where you what you did to get where you are now it's not going to be the same thing you're going to have to do to get where you want to be. So we've done a lot of things to get where we are now. We all have full-time jobs. Like we all graduated college. We all did. We all really even evolved spiritually, and we just learned so much. That's why we're able to talk every day. Like we're always learning so much through our experiences. But to go to the next level, which is what we're all trying to do, is it's going to require new things. You could keep doing some of the same things, but you might have to add on other things. We have to shift some things to get to where we want to be. And so I think sometimes that's the hard part. But there was something I was watching, and that word courageous really stuck out to me, is because I was watching this IG live, and she was just talking about, like, we're always waiting on God to give us an answer. Oh, this is me for real. Because I'm like, let me just see if I'm going to see if God wants me to do this. I'm going to see if God wants me to do that. And I'm big on that, because I do be really listening to God's voice. I don't be playing about that. But sometimes God already gave you the answer. And while you waiting on God, he already gave you the answer. He's waiting on you to have the courage to be able to do the thing he told you to do. So that's the thing. It's just like, you have to have the courage to do what God already told you to do. So it's just like, don't be telling me you waiting on God. He looking at you like that dang P. Diddy gift with that guy. Y'all staring at each other back and forth like, you won't. And he like, you won't.
Oh God.
I'm waiting on you. And so yeah, but I really do think that we're all in a very, very good place. Like, just looking at y'all, I mean, we have to get out of ourselves. If you, like, the way I look at y'all probably don't look at yourself the same way. Like, phenomenal. Oh, some good ass women, leaders in their own right, and just magnificent in, like, the way y'all handle y'all's relationships. We already know Kobe's gonna be a wonderful mother. Jasmine's already a wonderful mother to Eva, and we're all just learning from each other. And I think it's so good, because I remember years ago, my mom was like, I was telling my mom, like, I love the woman I'm becoming, and she, like, looked at me and she's like, I love the woman you are, and that's how I feel about y'all. So. Oh wait, is there another question? I'm over here just looking at y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
Ditto.
Okay, so the last question is, what can I do to reframe this narrative? How can I change my perspective?
So the thing about, like, lying to yourself, and when you're not being honest with yourself, you're basically not being authentic. And so, yeah, to reframe that narrative and to change that perspective of myself, I would have to be authentic and just really hone into, okay, who am I? What do I, who do I want to be? And, just going, taking that advice of, what I said a few podcasts ago about, channeling the energy and the behaviors of, that type of person. I want to be a boss. I want to, own multiple businesses. I want to, have a degree, then I need to put myself in a mindset of someone, who's an executive, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. So then I have to, make sure I'm doing those things and aligning myself with what I say that I want. And then also, this is the toughest one, but seeking that feedback and that advice and that input from others, because that's the thing too. We're so much in our heads, right? It goes back to what you were just saying too. We feel one way about ourselves, but other people are gonna see something different. So having the courage to be able to seek that, counsel and that guidance from other people that we trust, obviously, and who are going to be honest with us. And that's just what it is. Sometimes we don't, like, I know I don't do it because, that fear of what, like, oh, okay, so that's what that fear of what somebody's going to tell me about myself. And, just relating it back to, my resume, I've applied to many jobs, I get to the interview process and then it's like, okay, I don't get a call back. So I'm like, okay, is it my resume? Is it my interview? My interviewing skills, what is it? So going and seeking counseling and that feedback in that realm, as far as soul filling, seeking that counsel from business people and, women, because there are women out here who are where we want to be and who have, the knowledge. And so saying, hey, what do we need to do? What is the feedback? How does our page look? How does our podcast sound? What are some things we need to change and improve? So getting that feedback and knowing, okay, this is where we are. This is what we need to do and acting on that.
Girl.
I just want to piggyback on that because that whole mentor piece is crucial. And I think that could be one of the things that could like really get us to that next level. Because, back in the day when, people wanted to be a doctor, they were literally just most times it was a family practice and you were just always there watching your dad perform surgery or whatever the case, and you didn't have to go to school to get like these certain trades to become dentists, lawyer. Well, I don't know about lawyers, but like certain skills that like are highly revered professions, they learn just by simply being, they used to call it an apprentice, and basically that was just someone mentoring you every step of the way, because of course someone can get you there, and all the greats get there, like, Mike and Kobe wouldn't be nothing if they didn't have Phil Jackson. Well, I won't say nothing, but without those key mentors, they can really, really show you the way, or because they've been there, they've experienced that thing. So that's good.
Oh, that's really good. It makes me think of another thing that I probably knew, but like having a big ego.
Yeah.
Think you know everything. Like, that's me. Look. Like, nah, I got this. Nah, we're supposed to use this software and we're supposed to do this and we need to do this. Meanwhile, there's an easier way, or I missed a step that was crucial to our growth. Like, you should actually do this. And so I think that's really good because, like, what you realize is, and I know this now, is people are great people are seeking mentorship. They're getting into courses, getting into trainings to learn something that they don't know, because they don't have to waste the time figuring it out when something is already in a whole booklet for you. So they eliminate the time, but sometimes our ego is too big that we can't scale fast enough because we think we know everything, or that we think we could figure it out. We think we could figure it out, not realizing like the time to take to figure it out is time. so yeah, putting that ego aside to really ask, and that's in everything. That's like marriage, relationships. Like, my mom told me so many things, so I don't have to go through what she's been through. And sometimes we don't like to share our weak parts or the bad parts of like a relationship or a job, because you want people to think you have it all together. I don't care about that shit, but some people do, and but that could hinder you from actually helping someone, or actually getting the advice that you need.
That part.
To move forward in the correct way.
Because we might not know. Like you said, like somebody else could be able to say, like, no, I know what it is. Like, this is it. This is what you need to do.
Right.
But we just so scared to hear the truth and be honest,
Right.
We don't even ask or seek to find out what it is.
So good. Did I even answer this question? What was the question again?
Can you read the question again?
Okay. What can I do to reframe this narrative? How can I
yeah, you did. You did. Because you said, what did you say? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I just think reframing the narrative is to do the work. I think it always goes back to doing the work. Um, and how can I change
Yeah.
my perspective is to know that it really kind of goes back to Kobe was talking about being authentic to yourself. And I think being authentic is a practice because we have to unlearn so much of how society, school, our parents, what we see on TV, what they mold us to be. And so we think that we have to fit into a narrative when we can really create our own and know that if my thought process is changing, to know that me authentically being myself is enough and
Mhm.
good enough and it's okay. And it goes back to
Right.
what I'm not accepting. Like I don't know if I'm scared of what people would think of the real me. Um, yeah, essentially.
That's good. That's good. For me to answer this question, I, in short, I feel like both of you already touched on it. You all have already touched on it, and it would just be, oh, I think yours was letting go of the ego too. That whole letting go of the ego and not wanting to, if personally, I wanted to be a perfectionist so that, and I'm put my little spin on it because I really feel like that is what has been stopping me from getting to the next level, because it's like I get to a point where I feel stagnant, right? I feel stagnant about, my mom's house, about, the things that I want to vocalize and make sure they're clear. But if I had like a mentor or someone that I was talking to, but I think my own pride gets me from seeking, not wanting to be a burden, not wanting to talk to people, not wanting to tell my business, all these things, that gets in your mind that be like, okay, yeah, I'll just figure it out, I'll figure it out. And then instead of open it up, instead of having that just figured out mentality, is something that's probably taking me, weeks, months, could be even a year or years to figure out. If you if you put your pride aside and you put the ego aside, or just put the perfection, wanting to look perfect for the world, or wanted to be that person that have it all together 365, I feel like that really can, I feel like God didn't put what is it, 7 billion people on a planet for us not to work together to get to the next step. I think it's a reason why so many of us here, so we can just seek out that wise counsel from the people that are here. And it can really cause your narrative to really, really change at an exhilarated rate. So yeah, that's what it is for me. So yeah. Was there any more?
I love that. No, that was it, guys. I hope y'all answered the questions. Um,
Hey.
so if y'all lost it and y'all need to rewrite it down, it's what am I not accepting right now? What am I avoiding? Number two, what if I did accept this person, situation, conversation, thing? How would that make me feel? Number three, what part of my narrative hurts the most? Is this narrative really true? What can I do to reframe this narrative? How can I change my perspective? And at the end, she has this little thing that says, be gentle with yourself throughout this process.
Yes, be gentle. All right, y'all. So what time is it? It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. Y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Filling Podcast, we always, 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 always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is any statement that you are using to transform your life. Either you're transforming your life for the good or for the not so good. Even in the Bible, it states, let the weak say I am strong. So on them days when you feeling sick and tired, down and out, not feeling like your best self, Don't affirm that over your life. Instead, speak uplifting things over your life. Things like, I'm getting better and better every day. I always get through this. Things always turn out for my good. Just speaking some positivity over your situation and watch how God just elevates you through. So I'm affirming, well, there's three of us, and I'm affirming that there are millions, billions, trillions of y'all out there tuned in. And we're going to go ahead and end this thing off with our positive affirmations. So who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
I am at peace with all that has happened, is happening, and will happen.
Mm.
I am impeccable with my word.
Mm. I am being honest and gentle with myself.
Yes. So we hope you love this episode, even though if it cut deep, it cut deep. But now we moving forward with all the things that we learned. Please subscribe to us everywhere that we are at. We're on Soul Filling Podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts, and of course, YouTube. So you can check us out there as well. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. But if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, it would be so delightful if you leave a note that is soulful and sweet and give us a 5-star rating. 5 star, could we 5-star chicks? You a 5-star chick. Anyway, so if you
My age. My age.
yes, and so yeah, that's really about it. And follow us on all of our social media networks, Soul Feeling Podcast everywhere.
Yes. Until next time, soulmates. Bye. We love
Bye.
y'all.
Bye.